So I want to introduce you to Chastity, and I also want to introduce you to Lisa. They are both brand new here. So I just went over Chastity's gear, let's say her food and the things she brought for cooking. Now I would like Chastity to teach Lisa, because when you teach, you learn. All right? Okay.
So the first thing I did was pulled out all of my food and supplies, and I brought two sources of cooking heat, and one was the gel, and I brought a fancy glass thing to put it in, but we quickly realized that this is basically useless. It's taking up a lot of space that I can never use to cook with because it doesn't hold this size canister. It's fancy, it's breakable, it's just not practical. And I basically brought some things I can't use. So my second source of heat.
Lift that up so we can see.
Yeah.
The smaller container needs there. And the reason she can't use this is because there's no airflow when she uses the big one. So with fire, you need air.
So I also brought a stove, and I brought propane. So we hooked up the propane and learned how to do that, which was wonderful. And I said, okay, so what will I cook on my stove with? I do have something for making some hot water and cooking. And if I absolutely have to, because most of my food is just canned and pre-cooked, I can put it inside, mix it together, and have a meal. Not the easiest thing to clean. This, we realized, would also work, but would be very difficult to clean because of the lipped top. If I were trying to cook actual food and rice and such in there. My next best option, if I am limited to only the things I brought, is this, which if my stove were level does sit, but there is not extra wiggle room for sitting it. So it would work, but barely. So I have to get a pan or pot, we realized very quickly. So
well, what about your utensils? What are you going to cook with?
Okay, so while I remembered to bring several knives, scissors, and a can opener, for cooking I brought what I thought would be a multi-use wooden spoon, but I probably need a second option for flipping eggs or different things like that. So just one wooden spoon, while it seemed minimal and like a really great idea, for the space and just a little bit more space to take up, I probably need at least egg flipper or something like that.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, what about your, you said about the towels.
Oh, okay.
You figured that out yourself.
So, since there is a heat source, I got a hot pad to pick things up with and whatnot, but this can be kind of clunky and not the safest sometimes. So I did bring a number of towels that I can double or triple over and use like a hot pad as well.
Mm-hmm.
I like that I did that.
Awesome.
I brought aluminum foil because I know that was talked about as an option to minimize cleanup.
Mm-hmm.
And
here, what do you have in here?
I used this to organize a lot of my paper products to prevent them from getting wet or, you know, blowing away in the wind as we have today.
Yeah, we have a lot of wind. Sorry about the noise.
And I emphasize pre-made food. So ramen noodles, pickles, pre-packaged meats. I've got tuna here, pre-packaged chicken, and even canned beef, canned sausage. I decided to go with over.
Can we see some of that?
Okay.
And you put it all in one box. Why? You had a great reason.
So I put all of my canned meats down in this box because the plastic bin that I store everything else in would be really heavy if I tried to put this box by itself. Has some weight to it. So,
and wasn't it a great size for an issue in your
Yeah, so I'm just
That's
gonna put my
her
hands
car.
here.
What kind of car is that?
It's a Chevrolet Equinox,
Mhm.
and this box with where I put my seat to sit will fit perfectly even when I'm driving, right behind my driver's seat with my, second row of seats still there as is.
Mhm.
And when I park and I can pull my seat forward some, it's very easy to get in and out.
Great. And you figured that out yourself.
Yes.
Awesome. And then you brought some things. You brought some sauce for guacamole sauce. That's going to be for our little potluck. We're going to have a taco night. Nice.
Because this was a gathering, I wanted to bring something like pickles or something small that I could
share.
share just for fun. And then a more official gathering, we thought a taco night. I prepared for that. And I was learning the first time I went to eat, I thought I could try to eat some of the rices like this without heating them. Yeah, that wasn't the most tasty thing. So, as a total newbie, I did learn that the 90-second rice does need heated to soften a little more.
Okay. And you add water to that?
I will. Yes.
But if you just were to put that in the microwave, you wouldn't add water, right? But here you would add. Oh, you haven't tried? Okay, well, we're going to have to try that out.
Yep.
See how that works. And you have some, is that just the pesto sauce or is the pasta in here too? It's all
That one
one?
includes the pasta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. And how are you planning on organizing your cans? I know you have your meat in there, and then you have a big bin down here for your other foods. What are you thinking?
So I've been putting all of my non-food items, but kitchen related, into this black bin, as well as the non-meat items. So I end up with a box for food and one big bin that is the whole rest of my kitchen except for the stove. It's, of course, in its own box.
Okay.
As I reorganize and realize I don't need things like this, even my stove might fit into that kitchen box.
Okay, yeah. And then you have a cooler. This is a soft-sided cooler. What are you planning on using that for?
So if I can get ice, I can use that for leftovers, or if I have leftovers that I know I'm going to eat just a few hours later, I do have a temperature control thermos with a lid that they can stay in for a short time.
Oh, and you have that handy?
This is the one I have, and it's by Hydro Peak, which it just happened to be the one that I picked up. But I also, before using it for leftovers, I like to start out my trip with some ice in here. So you've either got cold water or access to ice right from the beginning of your travel as well.
Well, that's a great idea. And you're a stay-at-home mom, right? And you've got kids still at home.
Right.
And so you use your car, obviously, as a car at home, transportation. And you can camp in it, too.
Yes. And it was easier than I thought. Now that I know I also need a pan to cook in, I can even eat while I camp.
So just a pan, not too shabby. Do you mind if we look in your van, or what do you think?
We can look. It's
Okay.
crazy.
It's crazy. Okay. Lisa, so what did you learn? What do you think? What did you have any aha moments?
Well, I was
what she said?
impressed with her glass dish, how cute it was. I don't have anything like that, so I didn't bring it. But I do like her idea on smaller boxes, because I have huge, like this long, and it flips up, and I undid it to be like a nomad, I guess, and unloaded everything, and it's better to go smaller, I think.
Okay, we're going to take a look at your van in a little bit today, too. But yeah.
Yeah, so that was, you don't need.
You don't need what you don't need.
You don't need, and I'm the one that bought everything. And
for us, it's coming very handy.
Well, thank goodness.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah. But if you're not going to a big gathering like that, and you're not going to be sharing your stuff like you did very generously, you don't need a large, really 3-burner stove.
Yeah, don't need it.
It was great for a gathering.
It was.
Anything else about, anything else that she mentioned? The food. How's your food situation in your van?
My van came with the Yeti and a refrigerator.
Okay.
And I chose to take the refrigerator out and go with the cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Too much ice.
Okay.
Too much. Don't like it. I can honestly say I don't like it. So And I really haven't eaten much of what I thought I would eat.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to do more dry food and just a few, and use the fridge.
And use the fridge as a
Yeah,
refrigerator.
I don't need
Leftovers. You could put leftovers in there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did notice that. So
Okay.
I do want to get rid of the cooler. I wouldn't recommend it. You're having people go get you ice all the time.
Yeah.
I don't like to eat. So yeah, the cooler thing's got to go for me.
Okay. So you're thinking more dry food too?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Me too. I tend to go that route too.
Oh, good.
Packets of things and stuff.
And it's really not that bad, I discovered.
Yeah.
It's really not as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah. What about utensils? She mentioned she forgot a couple of utensils, like a flipper for
I got my
pancakes or
stuff at the
eggs.
van, and obviously the spatula that we're
Was
using
there.
is huge, maybe for like
It
a
is
pot
kind of
roast.
big, yeah.
So I do need to downsize and get an egg, a spatula, and then a stirring spoon and stuff like that. It's all way too big.
Okay.
Yeah, the pots and pans I think are like what everyone else has. So skillet and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.